For the past 2 months, I completely stopped playing modern video games. No new releases, no live service games, no updates, no battle passes, nothing. And yes, even with Crimson Desert releasing right in the middle of my little experiment, I only played old gen games and nothing more. And I'll be honest, what I learned was shocking. I thought this would just be a little nostalgia trip, but oh boy was I wrong. It ended up completely radicalizing my current views on modern gaming even more so, and honestly, not in the way I expected. Hey there all you beautiful guardians of the glaze. Welcome back to the Milky Donut. If you're new here, we do all things video games, movies, and pop culture. If you're not new here, well, it's good to see you again. I do have a goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers as quickly as I can, so if you could do me a favor, like and comment on this video, and you'll have a chance of being subscriber of the week, as you can see right here. So yeah, you should probably subscribe. And without further ado, surprise! There's been a reason why I've only been making videos about old games like Ocarina of Time, Ratchet & Clank, Turok Evolution, and others, because I've only been playing old games for the past about 2 months now. But before we dive into my little gaming experiment, I have to explain the rules of what I was doing. So for 2 months straight, I could only play what most people would consider old gen games from consoles like PS2, PS1, GameCube, Xbox 360, and 64 in that era. No touching anything modern, no switching back if I got bored. I wanted to fully commit to it. And the reason I did this was partly curiosity, but also I'm just tired of a lot of modern games that have fallen into my doughy little hands recently. A lot of them just feel repetitive, and I kept thinking to myself, are older games actually better? Or is it just nostalgia? Or am I getting old? Or what is it? So going into this, I genuinely thought I'd miss modern features and realized that we've actually improved in every area of gaming. Spoiler alert, that's definitely not what I realized. The first game I played was Ratchet & Clank for the PS2, and right off the bat, the first thing that hit me was just how fast and simple everything felt, despite the game being old. You boot up the game and you're just there. There's no updates, no downloads, no waiting around staring at a progress bar. The menus are straightforward and there weren't a million pop-ups trying to sell you something. It felt almost weird at first, like something was missing, and I didn't know how to feel about it, but I knew that it was in a good way. At the same time, I did notice clunkiness, controls weren't always as smooth, and certain mechanics definitely showed their age, but even with that, there was something immediately refreshing about the experience that I didn't expect, and that was heart, passion, and the want to make something that would stand the test of time, rather than sell 20 million copies and be forgotten within a year. Shortly after my completion of Ratchet & Clank, I moved on to what is possibly the best first-person shooter game of all time, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And this game specifically may have been the one that opened my eyes the most during my 2 months, because it really showed how far down the rabbit hole we had fallen. One of the biggest things I noticed, not only in older Call of Duty games, but just old games in general, is that they felt complete. When you bought a game, that was it. No day one patches, no, oh, we'll fix it later, just play what you have now. No missing content that gets added months down the road once you're already bored of the game. Everything was there from the start, and it felt like a finished product. Another huge difference is how much older games focus purely on gameplay. Even in games with heavy plots and story, the mechanics and gameplay never took the back seat. They didn't rely on constant updates or external systems to keep you engaged. The game itself had to be fun enough to stand on its own, and because of that, a lot of them just felt more tightly designed. I also noticed way more creativity and risk-taking. Developers weren't as locked into safe formulas or trends, or in fear of losing money due to inflated budgets, watering everything down in fear of offending someone or being too niche. The games were unapologetic in their identities, and it was great. You'd come across weird, unique ideas that probably wouldn't get greenlit today because they're too different, seen as offensive, or don't guarantee profit. That variety made playing through these games feel unpredictable and in a really good way. And then there was the monetization, or lack of it. No battle passes, no microtransactions constantly being pushed in your face, no loot boxes, no in-game stores trying to grab your attention every 5 seconds. You just played the game, and that alone, despite everything else, made the experience feel way more immersive than modern games. I'm not the only one that knows that the modern world of gaming has basically just been turned into a giant cesspool playground for big game studios to dig their greasy, grindball, greedy little hands in. Literally, whenever I imagine the CEO of a big game studio, I imagine a fly in the corner of a room just rubbing its grimy little hands together and thinking, what game IP can we ruin for these dumb little fans now? They just suckle it dry and then move on to the next cash grab. And then show up to the next PR event advertising their shitty game, pretending like they've ever played a video game before and acting like they made something new. So to say the least, having a break from that was very nice. Now, I do have to be fair, older games aren't perfect. There are definitely areas where modern games have improved significantly. Graphics are an obvious one. Modern games look incredible compared to older ones, but I'm gonna say that with an asterisk because I like the look of older games because they looked like video games. Modern games focus so heavily on graphics and realism that sometimes they don't even feel like you're playing a game, more like an interactive cutscene. But that doesn't change the fact that modern graphics have truly reached an incredible level. Performance is also generally better in modern games as well, generally better. And some older games have pretty rough controls or frustrating camera systems that can make them hard to go back to. I mean, walking along a skinny ledge or a platform with a Nintendo 64 controller is enough to give even the most seasoned gamer a brain aneurysm, but that's besides the point. I also noticed that the music seemed more immersive and atmospheric, and I actually have a theory as to why I feel like older games had better music, at least in a lot of cases, and that's because older game systems had graphical limitations. It was a lot harder to convince you of a realistic world with visuals alone, therefore needing to paint just as much of the picture as the visuals do. I feel like a lot of modern games focus too much solely on visuals to convince you of a compelling world, kind of putting the soundtrack and sound design on the back burner. Now obviously there are games that have phenomenal soundtracks and great sound design, but they seem to be increasingly few and far between. But after spending 2 months with these games, I realized something very important. It's not that old games are automatically better, it's that they were built with a completely different mindset. Older games were designed to give you a complete experience up front, while a lot of modern games are designed to keep you coming back over time. It's the difference between a finished product and an ongoing service. And because of that, older games just feel like they respect your time more. They're not trying to pull you in every single day. They just want you to have a great experience while you're there. And after my little experiment, going back to modern games does feel different. I noticed things that I didn't really think about before, at least not to this extent, like how often games try to keep you engaged instead of just being fun in the moment. I get more annoyed by unnecessary systems or monetization that interrupts the experience, but at the same time, I also appreciate certain modern improvements more, like smoother gameplay and quality of life features and graphical improvements. It definitely didn't make me hate modern games by any means. It just made me more aware of what they're doing. At the end of the day, going back to old gen games wasn't just about nostalgia. It was a reminder of what made gaming feel special in the first place. The sense of simplicity, creativity, and just pure fun without distractions. And maybe the future of gaming isn't just about better graphics or bigger worlds, but about bringing back some of those ideas that made older games so memorable in the first place. And I am definitely not saying that there are no good modern games. There are a ton of amazing modern games. A lot of my favorite games of all time are modern games. But I would be lying to myself and you guys if I said that I didn't feel like we've gone down the wrong path when it comes to a lot of aspects of modern gaming. But what do you think? What's your favorite game, modern game, or old game? What's your favorite game system? Comment below and like this video for a chance to become subscriber of the week. Subscribe to become a guardian of the glaze, and I'll see you next time on the Milky Donut.